obviously the shooting wasn't there for either team, but that's, I think, a reflection of how hard both teams played defensively. We had to work our you-know-what's off to guard those, especially Rosen off the dribble. He's so creative and crafty. I think he's a special player. I'm so pleased with the way that our team responded, especially our bench. We've talked a lot about all season, our bench and our balance being the keys for our ball play. They made me look good in that regard again tonight with Monducci and certainly with Corbin Miller. Those two kids coming off the bench, it's incredible production.
Tommy, Corbin, freshman in situations like that, late at the free throw line, full Western, all the noise and stuff like that. Just talk about the character of him to hit those free throws late and make some big shots.
Well, I don't want to be over dramatic or anything. I was surprised he missed the first one. I'm saying that because I have that kind of confidence, in him, especially after he started making a few shots. I mean, he's beyond his years. He's got a very incredible sense of balance about who he is, and doesn't get rattled and affected by a lot of things. And we've seen that before with this kid, and so I was very surprised he missed the first one. Was obviously then I was very hopeful he would make the second one, which gave us, the 4-point lead in a 2-possession game. But he's been that way for us. I mean, he's been injured. His thumb is taped up a little bit, and he's been out some games. I think 2 or 3 games this season because of that. But we have confidence in him, and we have confidence in our bench. Depending on who's going to give us some production, we kind of stick with it and go with those particular guys. And I thought Corbin and Steve were sensational for us as first-year players coming in this environment.
He passed up Curry under the hoop there, just to run a couple seconds more clock, knowing that he was going to make the free throws, right?
Well,
what did you think of that?
I thought he passed him up just not to take a chance with the pass.
Okay.
I really thought he made the correct decision there. Nothing chancy, and especially for him as he's an outstanding foul shooter and a good ball handler. So I thought that was the right decision. If looking back, I get a chance to see it on film, but as I recall, I thought not trying to chance a pass to get the ball up the floor and try to get a layup or something. If we could just run more clock and not chance that particular situation.
But another freshman might not have done that.
You could be very right on that. But that's he's got a lot of poise and composure for a young player.
Coach, how much of a role have the older players played in preparing guys like Corbin for this year?
Well, we've talked about it a lot all season about we're a team that we can go to our bench and rely on different players, and just think that we're going to have 2 freshmen come in here in this particular game in this environment and play as well as they did. It's probably a little stretch, but I'm not surprised that we got production from our bench. And as you mentioned, the older guys certainly preparing these kids for what to expect here and other games on the road in our league, and certainly how hard we compete every day in practice as other teams do.
Can you talk about giving Corbin the defensive design for Rosen and overall how well you think you guys?
Well, he's impossible to stop. I'm convinced of that after having dealt with him now for 4 years. But I thought Corbin did as well as anyone on our team. He moves his feet very well, and I think he has good awareness around him to anticipate what's coming in terms of different ball screens and angles. So we weren't, worried in that regard. No one has been able to kind of stop Rosen in this league that I've seen in 4 years. So I'm not thinking we're going to stop him, but if we could just make him work for it, which I thought we did, and I think he missed some shots he's ordinarily done.
Coach, given the unique nature of the Ivy League and how it plays, what are the potential problems that playing back-to-back after an emotional game present to you, trying to get the team ready for another one tomorrow night?
Well, it's a huge challenge. Certainly, this is one of the somewhat drawbacks of our conference and how challenging and difficult it can be to win our league. And certainly we know that how hard it's going to be tomorrow night, whether it's with a second night's game or a first game for us to go on at Princeton is no easy task. And so we know what's in front of us, and certainly on an emotional win here tonight and a hard-fought game tonight, we have our hands full. But I think the energy in our locker room, the way these kids are performing, I think we'll answer the bell and see what we can do with it tomorrow.
How do you assess your front court with the three-man rotation, with Kyle Smith scoring and keep on the board?
Well, I I was hopeful that we'd get more production out of some of our older players scoring, which we did with Keith and Brandon in particular, and then certainly Ron. Those kids not getting any field goals, which is somebody told me that we'd have to win without those kids getting any field goals in this game. I would not have believed it. in a lot of ways. But I thought Kyle made up for it, and I thought Keith made up for it on the backboard. You can see where, 13 rebounds is a tall task. He had 10 at the half, only 3 in the second half. But certainly that's a priority for us, is to get him on the glass, and he did that in a strong fashion.
And he looked pretty frustrated. What did you say to him when he came inside?
Well, I think he was frustrated that he wasn't finishing around the rim with opportunities that he didn't complete. And some of he's got to keep his head up, he's got to power through it. And we need him as this game is going to go on, and certainly going to need him as the season goes on.
Do you guys do anything specific for Lamit or Nadini or?
Well, I think, he got in foul trouble. I thought that certainly, was a factor. How he missed some time in the first half, and sometimes that can throw you off rhythm and out of sync. And, he's an outstanding senior player in this league, and we try not to give him any open looks, as they try not to give any to Rivard. And we know each other. They know us, and we like to think we know them fairly well. And you're hopeful that you can make some shots and they can miss. And I think we were fortunate in that regard.
Could you just comment a little bit on the success Jeremy Lin's been having in New York for the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm anxious to find out what
He had 14 in the first quarter or something like that when I left.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm thrilled for him, as you can imagine, and I'm proud of him. We're excited to see what he's accomplishing. He's a first-class young man, and I think he's very deserving of what's coming his way. And he's, you can have these opportunities, but if you're not ready or prepared for them, then there's no need. He's been a kid that's been ready and prepared when the opportunity has presented itself, and boy, is he running with it. And so we're very pleased.
Tom,
Is that-
it's the second year in a row that you guys have come in here, and it's been a huge crowd like this, the buzz about the game, and you guys won the game, and you talked a little bit already about going in these road environments and what it teaches you guys. But can you expand on that a little more, and especially if you've been coming here the last 2 years, given the history of these two programs, what it means to win this building for second year in a row?
Well, it's very meaningful. Our seniors and the journey that we've been on with our team, and certainly with our older players and our seniors in particular. And I think they've led us, no question about it. And you can't come in here and have any success with this kind of environment with a marked game. And I think this was certainly one of the games thus far in Ivy League that's kind of was a marquee kind of game. We'll probably be others, and hopefully we'll be playing them. But you need leadership. You need veteran players to guide you through. And I thought McNally, his leadership and his presence is amazing. And that's the credit, I think, where it goes in order for us to come to a game like this with this environment, this crowd, with the game being built up the way that it was.
Can you talk about in the second half, Penn had that run, comes back, tied at 30, and then you guys go up 44-34. Can you talk about that part of the game?
Yeah, it seems like it's you can kind of mark it up in college basketball where teams are going to have runs, and it's a matter which team is going to survive a run or which team can put together the last run. But certainly, it got very loud. We were up 28-23, I think, at the half, and then obviously they made the run, and we talked about that at halftime, that it's going to be a few more runs in this team. We're going to be in position with the lead, or we're going to have the composure and the poise to answer when it happens. And we certainly answered in a strong fashion by responding right away, which I thought was just another indication of that leadership in the guts of our team that we've showed thus far this season.
So I mentioned Oliver, are there specific things today that he did that it seemed like he took on late in the shot clock, he had the ball a little bit more than...
Well, he did, and he's a veteran, crafty player. His 2 free throws when it was in the shot clock situation, he gets fouled. To be able to kind of give us 2 extra points and give us a little cushion there, and go back on defense and try to get a stop. He got some defensive rebounds. He came up with loose balls. I mean, he's a gutsy player, and one of those kids that you don't win games like this without kids like ours now.
This league has always had, it's had streaks, 6, 8, 7, 8 years of one marquee team. Princeton in the 90s, Penn after that. Now it looks like you guys. Are you ready to take on that now?
Well, we're hopeful that we can play well tomorrow night. I appreciate the question, but we have a long way to go to think of ourselves as anything along those lines. I mean, we need, certainly we're working toward becoming a contender on a consistent basis. But right now, it's, we're full steam ahead with what's right in front of us for this season. And certainly that begins with getting rest tonight and getting ready for tomorrow.
I figure that's a game you guys don't need much motivation for, given what happened
Well,
last time we saw.
it's, I'm not sure that we're thinking along those lines of last season. And if we are, I'm a little, like, we have a lot to play for this season. And it was a sensational year for us last year, an outstanding year for Princeton. And I said it before, and I said it right after that game. I just thought it was a sensational moment for our league. To have two teams play in a great game like that, in a great environment, national kind of flavor and audience, and that's what we want our league to represent. We're proud to be a part of that. And, but that was then. We're hopeful that we can muster up enough effort and energy to get ready to play another tough game tomorrow on the road at Princeton.
Kyle seemed to have a really good night tonight off the dribble and getting to the basket a lot. Is that something you encourage him to do rather than hanging out?
Well, we have different matchups in terms of who's guarding Kyle, and that's what we try to utilize. And, but I thought he took care of the basketball much better tonight. No turnovers by Kyle tonight, which is outstanding for him, and especially how much he handled the ball tonight. He looked to score and drive, as you mentioned. So valuing the ball, taking care of the ball was critical, and I thought Kyle did that very well. Thank you.